I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars.
What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. Let's get into Smackdown, which was actually okay. I did not watch it early on in the day. I know that there were spoilers that were floating around online, obviously, because WWE is still doing the European tour. So, these shows come on earlier, but I didn't even watch not one segment of this show. So I just opted to watch it at 8, and it was an okay show. We got 6 matches, which was good, so I did like that. I think that's the perfect number of matches that you should have on a 3-hour show. I think 6 matches is plenty, and you still got time for backstage segments and promo segments, and I think this was a pretty okay show, for the most part. We got 4 qualifying matches, we got 2 matches for the women, a singles match, and a tag team match, so that's good there. So I did like that. But we're going to go ahead and get into SmackDown from January the 16th, 2026. So we kick the show off with the Drew McIntyre celebration. Drew has like a 5 to 7 minute entrance. Then he gets into the ring. He really doesn't say anything. The crowd's all behind him. He gets a massive reaction. The crowd sings "Old Drew McIntyre." So Drew gets on the mic. He says he prayed for this and it happened. So the crowd begins to chant, "You deserve it." Drew says he knows it's been a few rough years in the UK, but for anyone who can bring themselves together, it's their undisputed champion, the first ever British WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. So Drew then shows his appreciation for all the love and support he's gotten for over the past week. Basically, he says, screw you to all of you. I mean, to all of them. He said he's not really doing the bad guy wrestler. He seriously means screw you. He said, where were you when he got fired? Where were you when CM Punk was kept screwing him over? Where were you when all the bloodline stuff went down? Where were you with Cody when Cody's and his crooked ref screwed him? And yeeting Jey Uso, where were you then? So Drew says the only person he has to thank is himself. So Drew says that he went over the contract. He said since most Americans can't read, he'll tell them. He'll tell Cody what it says. There's going to be no rematch. Cody has to start from scratch like everybody else. He says the era of the vanilla QB1 is over, and the unpredictable, dangerous Drew McIntyre era begins tonight, which is great. I love that line. That was good. That was really, really good. Because as a Cody fan, Cody's second reign as champion got really stale extremely quickly. And that was on booking. That was on Triple H. So whatever. You could have had Cody win the title back at Survivor Series. That's really what should have happened, right? Or Saturday Night's Main Event back in December. So whatever. You can't clean up spilled milk. Well, you can clean up spilled milk, but you know what I mean. So Randy Orton comes out and gets a massive reaction. He gets a 5-minute entrance because, you got to kill 3 hours somehow. So Drew assumes that Randy's out here to congratulate him. On the contrary, he's not. He says him and Randy and Drew have history. Everyone knows this. Randy says that everyone knows that him and Drew do not like each other at all. And he reminds Drew that when he had the chance to kick him in the head through the announce table, I think that was like 2-3 months ago when that happened, but he declined. And Randy has the opportunity. He won't hesitate to invoke the most 3 devastating, dangerous letters in all of wrestling, pro wrestling, RKO. So Jacob Fatu shows up, and him and Drew, they begin to brawl briefly. Drew is able to escape through the crowd, and that was the end of the first segment. before we went to commercial, The Miz showed up and attacked Randy from behind. He laid him out with a skull-crushing finale. This then sets us up for the first match of the night. Qualifying match. Randy Orton qualifies. He beats The Miz. Clearly, the Miz was going to lose anyway. Randy wins via the RKO. Who cares? I didn't watch this match. It probably lasted maybe about a minute, maybe. At best, 2. I don't give a damn. So that's fine there. Orton wins via the RKO. So, whatever. So, moving on from that, we go backstage. Drew McIntyre is confronted by Ilja Dragunov. That would be nice to see. Drew McIntyre versus Ilja Dragunov. That would be fucking awesome. Who talks about not fighting like a sane man as he looks to beat Sami Zayn to take one step closer to a shot at the WWE Championship. Drew says sure. He looks forward to bashing Dragunov's teeth in before rushing away. Ilja smiles. So, there is that. I would love to see that. I really would. I'd love to see a Drew McIntyre, Ilja Dragunov match. That would be chef's kiss. It really would. Sign me up for that. Moving on. So, basically, Solo Sikoa, he's backstage with the lantern of Uncle Howdy. I don't care about this. Moving on from this, we get another vignette from the Wyatt Sicks. Uncle Howdy talks about its purpose, and they won't rest until the lantern returns to its proper home. I don't give a shit about this at all. This is lame. Can we please end this nauseating, pathetic, boring, lame, non-essential feud between the Wyatt Sicks and the MFTs, please? It is lame as fuck. I do not like it at all. I don't like any of the participants involved. I don't. Like, the Wyatt Sicks has been a failed experiment. It really has. And the MFTs, same thing. It's been a failed experiment for Solo. I don't know. Moving on. So, Charlotte Flair is back. She's back from being sick. Charlotte is backstage. She talks about title opportunities she's turned down for the sake of the team, but the pair reconcile before Alexa Bliss walks away. Who cares? Charlotte talks to Nia Jackson, Last Legend. She talks about... Nia Jackson, Last Legend, they show up. They talk about Alexa's attitude being typical. Charlotte Flair won't have any of it, refusing to listen to their unsolicited advice before walking off. As Nia Jax said that Charlotte Flair will just have to learn the hard way. I don't care about this. Moving on. This leads us into Julia and Kiana James being defeated by Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. So they win. The babyfaces win. I don't care about this. Julia still gets no reaction. It's not good. I don't know what you do or what you can do to salvage Julia. I don't know. I really don't. I thought she would get a reaction because, she's in the UK, but clearly it doesn't matter. To be perfectly honest with you all, I think it would be better for Julia to be back down in NXT. I think that Julia came out of the oven a little bit too soon. I think she should still be back down in NXT for a little while. I feel that she was pushed too fast. She should really be back in NXT she should have stayed in NXT for at least 2 years. That's just, how I feel about the whole ordeal. I like Julia. I'm a fan of Kiana James. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, they're fine as well. 2 veterans. But, whatever. Moving on. So, Nia Jax and Last Legend, they show up. So, they're about to beat up Alexa Bliss. For some odd reason, Julia, she gets involved, and Kiana James basically has to pull Julia away from, I guess, getting her hands on Nia Jackson, Last Legend. Okay, this is weird because Kiana James and Julia, they're heels. So, like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Moving on. This leads us into another Solo Sikoa promo, whatever, backstage. He says that if the Wyatt Sicks want to let him back, they better have put the tag titles on the line. And in the meantime, he's going to take real good care of it. And he'll be, and he says mentioning, implying Bray Wyatt will be with Solo Sikoa when he takes out Damian Priest to bring the WWE title to his family. Okay, whatever. I don't care about this. Moving on. So, Cody Rhodes shows up with a business suit on. He gets a massive pop. He doesn't really say much of anything worthwhile for the first little bit of the promo. So, he gets a little mixed reaction at first. He mentions why he called it, what do you want to talk about? It's really about the fans and everything. That's why it's called that, the podcast, and why he says that all the time. It was supposed to be a fan-spectator interaction. He doesn't want them to be participants. He didn't want them to be spectators. He wants them to be participants. He says that he didn't want things to be so episodic or so predictable. Or is Drew McIntyre just that good? So, Cody says that he's going to do what Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and himself, what do they all have in common? That is, they won back-to-back Royal Rumbles. So, Cody says that he loves a good gamble, and he's going to be the first one to enter in the Royal Rumble. He's going to officially declare himself the first entrance in the Royal Rumble. Okay, who really cares? So, Jacob Fatu, he talks about him, mentions how he met him in APW, and he calls Jacob Fatu a young veteran. And he says that he should know that he's coming for the young veteran, and he's got a receipt coming for him. So, there's that. That's fine. Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes feuding. I'm down for that. We should keep Cody away from the title for at least a good, maybe a good year. Because at first, when I heard that online, I was like, a year? But then again, I started to think about it. I'm like, yeah, that does make sense. That does. It really does. Moving on. So this leads us into Matt Cardona. He's backstage. He's looking forward to wrestling. He was looking forward to wrestling his buddy for the title, but he has some history with Drew McIntyre. He notes that McIntyre was his first WWE match. Like Drew, Matt Cardona had to leave WWE to find himself. Now that he's back, he's looking to prove himself by winning the WWE Championship. Not going to happen. Moving on. This leads us into Trick Williams defeating Matt Cardona. He qualifies. We all knew that Trick Williams was going to win anyway. So he wins via the trick shot. Kit Wilson, he shows up post-match. Him and Trick have a brief stare down. And then Kit Wilson attacks Matt Cardona. He gets a massive pop. So, that's fine there. Why? Because he's in his home country of England. So, yeah. Of London, England. So, that's fine. Moving on, this leads us into a backstage promo by Damian Priest. He talks about needing to get past Drew McIntyre for the WWE Undisputed Championship. So, there's that. Who cares? Kit Wilson, he's in the middle of the ring, saying that they all need a solution. They all need him. He calls himself a tonic for toxic masculinity. But he's interrupted by Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu beats the shit out of Kit Wilson, which was great. Cody Rhodes shows up. Him and Jacob Fatu, they get into a brawl. Enough said, who cares? Then apparently it's going to be Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu starting as main event. I don't know. Why would you give away a quality-free pay-per-view match on television? I don't know. Dumbass Triple H booking, but whatever. This leads us into Damian Priest defeating Solo Sikoa. The Wyatt Sicks come out, they get involved. I thought Aleister Black was going to get involved in this match. He didn't. So clearly the feud is over with. So Damian Priest wins via the South of Heaven. Who cares? And then post-match, the Wyatt Sicks, they get beat up by Tala Tonga, a.k.a. Hikuleo. He shows up. He takes out Uncle Howdy via a big boot. I don't care about this shit. Again, moving on. This leads us into Sami Zayn. He's confronted by Drew McIntyre. Sami Zayn talks about going out there and going to war with Dragunov before looking to meet Drew at the Royal Rumble and win the title. With the title on the line. Drew McIntyre says the reality is that even if Sami Zayn makes it to the Royal Rumble, nothing will change as he hasn't beaten Drew before. And then Sami scoffs at this and he walks away. Okay, that's fine there. Moving on, this leads us into an open challenge. Carmelo Hayes is still doing the open challenge. It's answered by Leon Slater. Yes, the TNA X Division champion, Leon Slater. So it was true. So apparently WWE is using Leon Slater. We all know why. Basically, they're in London, England. So they had to snag him for that. Match was fun and solid. Carmelo wins via a super cutter off the top rope. And he retains the U.S. Championship. Clearly, they are going to snag him up from TNA. I know Leon Slater's contract does not come to an end until the end of the year. But he probably will end up being in WWE long before the end of the year. So I wouldn't be shocked if they end up buying out his TNA contract probably by summer. That's just how I feel. So, But this match was fun, and I did enjoy it, so it was fun. Melo works very well with younger guys. And, Leon is the same age as Javon Evans. Both young guys. They're both 21. So, yeah. Moving on. This leads us into a backstage segment involving Nakamura, who was watching backstage. So, Tama Tonga confronts him, mocking him for losing his shot at the U.S. Championship. Before saying he's got his sights set on the title after the MFTs win the tag team titles. Nakamura mocks him. And I'm guessing they're going to do a match at some point. I don't give a fuck about this at all. I really don't. I thought they were going to do a tag team match at some, try to bring them together as a tag team, but it's not going to happen. So that's fine there. Whatever. Moving on, this leads us into a backstage segment involving Johnny Gargano. They're confronted by Action for what he's been doing for the last few weeks. Then Johnny Gargano gets taken out by another Axiom. It's actually Nathan Frazier, and they beat him up. They beat up Johnny Gargano, so that's funny there. Moving on, we get another Obafemi vignette, so that's fine. Jordynne Grace defeats Chelsea Green. She wins via the torture rack. Yeah, the torture rack powerbomb she's been doing for a little bit. She wins via that way. She gets on the mic, Jordynne Grace does, and she thanks the champ for watching tonight. She gets to see what's coming for her, but if she's just tired of babysitting that title, come step up. So Jade Cargill does show up, and then she's about to get into the ring, and then Chelsea Green just knocks down Jade Cargill, which was kind of funny. So, it's fine. I do like this. So, there's that. Moving on, we get a backstage segment involving Trick Williams. He talks about the Fatal 4-Way at Saturday Night's Main Event before he's interrupted by Damian Priest, who says that Both of them are free next Friday, and he's going to challenge Trick to a match. Okay, that's fine. Main event of the evening. Sami Zayn defeats Ilja Dragunov to qualify for the Fatal 4-Way at starting night's main event. Sami Zayn wins via the haluva kick. Then post-match, Trick Williams shows up and beats the shit out of Sami Zayn, and then that was the show. So this was fine, I guess. Clearly, they're pushing Trick Williams. Clearly, we know that Sami Zayn is going to win the Fatal 4-Way next weekend, next Saturday. And he's going to clearly lose to Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble, which is fine. It makes sense. So, clearly, this is just going to set Sami Zayn up to win at WrestleMania next year, at WrestleMania 43. Since it is going to be in Saudi. But this show was okay. Again, we got 6 matches, 4 qualifying matches, which I did like Trick Williams. That was fine, you know. I really enjoyed Sami Zayn and Ilja, even though it was short. I also enjoyed Carmelo Hayes and Leon Slater. We know that he's going to be snatched up by WWE for sure. He's going to be in NXT probably before the end of the year, probably by summer, or if not the summer, definitely by the fall. So we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. But all in all, this show was, okay. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.